Welcome to another episode of Balance and Harmony Hour. I trust you're having a great week. I trust your week is going on well. Let me just share it on other platforms and we start for today. Yes, that's great. And yeah, it's also going on live. 1 minute, yeah, on Facebook also. Mhm. So I love today's topic. I love today's topic. Today we're talking about understanding stress in children and teenagers. Understanding stress in children and teenagers. So if you can hear me, please let me know if you can hear me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on my YouTube channel. And tell me where you're watching from. And if you know a mom, a dad, a parent that needs to hear this, please share this video with them. If they cannot join now, they can watch a replay. They can watch a replay. We need to understand this topic. We need to understand stress in children. So this week I'm talking about stress in children and teenagers. And when I mean stress in children and teenagers, I mean from the age of around 3 to 18, 19. Yes. Next week, I'll talk about young adults. And the one you should not miss is the one I'll be talking before the month end, is about you transferring your stress to the people around you. Be you a parent, be you a boss somewhere, it's possible that you are transferring your stress outwardly now to people around you. And for parents that are watching me, also, you have to understand that to an extent, the children they inherit some kind of stress genes, if I'll call it that way, the way you react to some things. But if they have the right understanding, if you have the right understanding, you can change that for your children and for yourself. You can actually change that for your children and for yourself. So let me start by asking this question. How many of us believe that kids have stress? Some people, they believe that kids don't have stress. So do you believe that kids, they have stress? What's your opinion? Do they have stress? Do they get stressed? You know? And at what age do children start to stress? At what age do you think the children start to have stress? The truth is that children start from the age of immediately they are born to have stress. Depends, because we know in stress, when we're talking about stress, you have the stress from the outside, from the environment, from other people, and you have the stress that come from inside of you. So as much as we don't see, or that the children, they cannot express themselves, we can have children in stressful environment and they are experiencing this stress. They might not come out as you and I and say, oh, I am stressed. Although nowadays we are hearing it more often that people are, that young children are saying, oh, I'm stressed, because they are hearing their parents, their aunties, their teachers saying it. So they are picking up this language and also saying, I'm stressed. But do they understand the full meaning of it? They might not. And they might be experiencing stress long before they can even say that. So you have to understand that stress is not only an adult problem. I don't know if you have ever heard people say that, or you yourself, you have said that, oh, I wish I would go to those days where I had nothing to worry about. Oh, I wish I could go back to those days whereby I don't have to pay house bill. I don't have to come back at a particular time at home. You know, all those things, especially the teenagers, you know. But the truth is, if you look back at those days, you had your own stress. You had your own stress. Is it your parents calling you to wash something? Is it your parents sending you on errands? Different kinds of stress you have. So please, parents, or I'm talking about parents today, to parents today, your children They might be having stress, but they don't express it the way you might express it. That's the difference. They don't express it the same way that you might express it, but most importantly, they express it with the things they do, their body movement, the things they do, or the things they don't do. They will not come and say, "Oh, I am overwhelmed." They don't know what that means. You understand? They don't come and say that because they don't know what that means. But there are things that they do that you see of a truth. This child is overwhelmed. Like I say, if you are watching this and you know of a parent, please pass this video to them. Let them gain from it. Let them understand, because I believe awareness is number one tool to solving any problem. Awareness is number one tool to solving any problem. Let me explain something to us. Okay, it's not on this video because this video I'm not talking about how we transfer this stress. That the story I'll talk about when we talk about that topic. So, how does stress show up in younger people? Younger ones, I mean children and teenagers. You know, they they react to stress differently. One, their brain is not fully developed like your brain or like my brain. There's so many adults that their brain is not it's not yet fully developed. They're not responsible enough. There are so many adults that are like that. Their brain is not fully developed. Many adults. So talk less of children. So children, they are parts of their brain, especially those parts that are responsible for regulating their emotions, helping them to make the right decision, helping them to cross the road when no car is passing. It's not yet fully formed. It's not yet fully formed. That is why if you need to fill if a child needs to fill a form, an adult will fill that form for that child. There's a proverb we say as Africans that what an adult, a older person sees sitting down, a young person will climb on the tree and they will still not see it. So the the brain is not yet fully formed to be able to respond to stress. That's one thing you have to understand. Sometimes they don't even know what danger is. Can imagine a child, you've seen a baby trying to touch flour, fire. They're trying to touch fire. Fire is burning. They don't know what that is. A candle is burning. They don't know what that is. They are trying to touch it. You understand? They are trying to touch it. Their brain is not fully developed. So when you are seeing your child, when you look at your child, have pity on them, be gracious to them. Their brain is not fully developed. They still lack the emotional and regulation skills. And like I said, so many adults lack that. They just say what they want to say, they do what they want to do, they don't regulate themselves. They don't get what they want, they react, they shout, they cry, they get angry. Many adults still do that. But we see this in children, we see this in teenagers, and that's the way their own stress makes them to react. And another thing we have to know is that these children, these teenagers, they depend heavily, I use that word again, they depend heavily on adults, not only their parents. It can be their teachers in schools, it can be their aunties and their uncles, it can be that stranger on the road that they don't even know. So you can imagine if they are now in a situation where that adult person, that big person, is not treating them well, their stress doubles, triples. So if there's anything I want you to go out from here today is that children, they don't need a perfect life, if there's anything like that. Because I've seen people that have rich family, they're not still happy. People that have poor family, they're not still happy. People, their parents are educated, they're not still happy. There's no perfection. except in Christ. You understand? So children, they're not asking us for that perfection. What they are asking for, what children are asking for is, or what they need is an environment where there is regulation, where the adult is regulated, where that adult has a regulated emotion. That is what children are screaming for. They want a safe space. Children, they don't just want, they need a safe space. So what I'm talking about today, I'm talking about children, that is children from 3 to 12, and teenagers from 13 to 18, 19. I joined them together in this talk. So I'll be talking about some common stressors that they have, both the children and the teenagers, and how they express themselves, or how stress show up in them, and why it looks this way, and what you can do when you just see them behaving somehow. Your mind will go and say, this might be stress. It must not always be stress. You can have headache. Not all your headaches are from stress. Your tummy might be paining you. It can be stress. It can be that you're afraid of something, but not all your tummy ache is from stress. So these things you hear me say, it's not all of them that is from stress. But when you see those things, ask yourself, is it stress? Because even when you go to the doctor and doctor measures your blood pressure, and your blood pressure is high, some of the things they will ask you is, do you have problem at home? How is it at home with your husband, with your child, with your wife? How is it at work? Those are some of the questions you will see them asking you. You understand? So for them to remove that fact that, okay, there's no stress at home, there's no stress at the work. So let's go into the signs of their body. Maybe there's something wrong in an organ somewhere. Maybe there's something tight somewhere. So that's the same thing. When you hear these different ways that stress shows up in a child, it makes you to think, is my stress, is my child, is my teenager experiencing stress? See, adults, you are responsible for your children. I will say the scripture that says, train up a child until they are old. And I keep asking that question. When is a child old for you? I see some parents, when their children are 12, 13, they let them go on their own. I'm not asking you to control and hold by your child, but it's that child is still in the process of training. And when you are training, you have patience, you have grace, you have love, you give tools, you give information to guide them, So children ages 3 to 12, these are some of the things that can stress them. Moms, dads, parents, aunties, caregivers, come closer. These are some of the stressors that can affect children from the age of 3 to 12. Number one, family conflict. I wanted to say the genes, but that one, like I said, it will be a discussion for another day, because the gene is there, but the environment that child is born into affects it even more than that gene. You understand? So family conflict can affect a child, can make that child more stressed, always arguing. Oh, there's always argument in the home. There's no day of peace. My God, that child is seeing that, first of all, maybe as the normal thing, and they grew up that way. They take it that way. Oh, my father would always shout on my mom. My mom will always disrespect my dad. My dad, this thing will happen, that thing will happen. It becomes, there's a kind of normality for them, or there's a kind of heightened stress in them. Silent tension. I was a person that, when there's a problem, I don't like to shout, I don't like to argue, I remain silent. But the children, your children, they feel that silence. Your children, they feel that silence. So that silent tension is also not the best for your children. And I know moms, a lot of moms, because in a family, husband and wife, they have problem. Most of the time, when the man is stressed, he just walks away. He goes out. So the woman is at home, she's stressed, but she's trying to do as if everything is okay. Sometimes they are able to achieve it, but sometimes they're not able to achieve it, or they are more quiet, and the child will be asking, Mama, is everything okay? Mama, is everything okay? So that silent tension can cause um, stress. They're absorbing that stress from that. That is one of the stressors. You know, unresolved conflict in your home, emotional distance between you, between the adults in the house. This will create for the child fear. Ah, no, don't enter that room. Oh, mommy and daddy are shouting. This uncle and this auntie are shouting. Don't enter that room. Oh, don't get into that room. You understand? It creates fear, and fear only heightens stress. Fear only heightens stress. Another thing, this family conflict, another thing, this distance, this silent tension, what it causes is insecurity for that child. That child does not feel safe anymore. That environment does not feel safe for that child. Sometimes I will tell you in the other part how they start to react, how some of them become aggressive, how some of them withdraw because of that environment. So parents, I know that arguments are part of life, but learn how to argue, have healthy arguments, especially in front of your children. So I keep telling people you need to look for skills that will help your life. You can feel that, okay, my family will argue a lot. Look online, look on YouTube, find skills that you can use to better your life, that you can make your life better, that you can learn, oh, what do I do during conflict? How do I talk during conflict? How do I reduce conflict? Those things are there for your children's sake, you know. So then another thing is parental expectation, even at that small age, that children, they get tensed. They have to behave very well, because they have to behave perfectly, because they want to please their parents. That can be very stressful for the children. That can be very, very stressful for the children. I remember, we Africans, I would normally say that we speak with our eyes. I remember my children, especially my firstborn, when we are outside or when we have visitors and they're misbehaving, I'll just look at them like this. They will know that they're doing something wrong. But the truth was that there were times I just looked at them without even looking at them. I'm just thinking about something else, but I looked at them, and my first daughter will now be tensed. She would feel she has done something wrong. She would feel, oh my God, what have I done? And she does not even know what she has done, but she feels that way. She's trying to meet up to my expectation. And even in that moment, I was not expecting anything. I was just looking. But because I've always looked and expected her to behave, to understand what that my look was, that was creating stress inside that child. That was creating stress. You want your children to have very good notes. It's good. All the expectations, don't get me wrong. As parents, we want our children to be good, to be excellent. But there's a way you can communicate that without pressuring them. There's a balance you can meet. There's a balance you can meet. I heard of a case, I think it was on the internet. I think a lot of people, you must have heard of it, of the lady that finally killed her parents because she was doing very well in school, and the parents had high expectations and were supporting her. And I think she got into the high school or university, and for one reason or the other, she was not meeting up. You understand? And she just felt she was disappointing her parents, and not to disappoint her parents, she killed her parents. What did they do wrong? I don't blame their parents at all. I'm not in their house to really know what the pressure was or how the pressure was, but that is what it can cause, our expectation for our children. So how do we communicate that without the pressure? There's always this TikTok trend that says, say, let me know you're a Nigerian without saying you're a Nigerian, or let me know you like this without saying you like it. How do you pass your expectation to your children without pressuring them? That is for you to find out. Because that parental expectation can lead them to internal stress. They internalize stress because they want to do it. They want to do it. And of course, we still have some people that don't care. They don't care about it. We still have those kind of people. Another thing that can happen to these 3 to 12-year-old children is school pressure. Their tests, their grades, they are comparing themselves, the fear of failure, overwhelmed from other children, seeing what other children are wearing, what they are buying, what they are not buying. That can pressure them. That can cause stress for them, but you don't know. You will not know if you don't look at them, if you don't watch the way your children they speak, you will not know. So family conflicts or tension, parental expectations when it's not well handled, school pressure or peer pressure, and the last one I'll talk about, there are many things that can cause stress in them, but the last one I'll talk about is the lack of emotional safety. When a child does not feel safe, that is why you need to listen to your children. If you drop them somewhere and they are feeling uncomfortable, take it that they don't like that place. There's a stress going on in them. When a child feels unheard, they are talking but you're not hearing. When a child feels dismissed, when a child feels always being punished, they are not um, praised. They're always being punished. They don't get anything right. They don't do anything right. Then they start to experience that tension in them, that stress. The environment for them is not safe. And what happens when you feel that an environment is for you is not stress, it's not safe, you start having tension. Your adrenaline is always high. You're always tense. Your muscles is always tense. Those are some of the ways, some of the stress our small children go through. And we as parents, we can do a lot to reduce that. We can do a lot to reduce that tension in them. So, how do we notice that our expectation or family conflict or school pressure or lack of security at home, emotional security or a safe place, how do we know that they are causing stress for the children? How do these children tell us I am stressed without telling us I'm stressed? How do they do that? There are several ways they can do that. One of the ways is when you see a child always crying, always crying. There's something wrong. They're trying to communicate something. They say, crying baby, crying baby. That crying baby is trying to communicate something, something they cannot put in words, something they cannot explain. Most times, children cry because they cannot explain what is wrong with them. So when your child is always crying, when your child is always feeling irritable, there's something. They are stressed. They might be stressed. You see, sometimes when I have some kind of pain in my joints, it can be very, very bad. And I feel, based on that pain, I feel very irritable for myself. I just feel, and sometimes I feel I talk that way and everything. That is the way you show that your body is stressed. You are showing stress through that way. You understand? So that irritability is a sign that something is not going on well and it can be stress. That's one. Secondly, when your children are always bedwetting, they're always having tummy problem, they are telling you, oh, my head is paining me, this place is paining me. It can be a form of stress, physically speaking. It can be a form of stress. This video might be a bit longer than my 30-40 minutes video because, like I said, I'm joining the 3 to 12 years old to the 13 to 18, 19 years old. So I really want you to pay attention. Some of the stressors, some of the ways they show it, they are similar, but there are some specific signs to each of this group. So bedwetting, you see a child always bedwetting, sometimes out of stress, out of fear. They have fear. They can't move. Because of that, they bedwet. Sometimes, of course, there are some biological reasons and things like that, but you need to look at it. Then when a child is always holding close to you or always withdrawing from somebody or a particular environment, stress can make them do those things. Stress can make them either withdraw or cling to you. They're always holding on to you. You get to a particular room, your child is holding on to you. They don't want to leave you. I know as parents, you want them to take their wings and fly. But pay attention and ask yourself why. What is stressing my child in this environment? Or what is stressing my child now? Why is my child holding on so badly? Why is my child withdrawing so badly? Those are my signs that your child might be going through stress. And the kind of stress can be from different areas, like we said. It's for you to discover. Then you have when a child start being aggressive or withdrawing. That's another one. They're getting always aggressive. Something is easily irritating them. There's something wrong somewhere. There's something wrong somewhere. Anger and silence are often stress responses. In stress, we have the fight or flight or freeze response. So when a child is always aggressive, always fighting, there's something stressing that child. Or when that child always is always silent, you might say, if I say anything does not bring anything, then they'll keep quiet or out of fear. You understand? So watch it. They might not just be misbehaving, they might be shouting in their own best way that they are under stress. So parents, be patient. Parents, be gracious. Parents, be watchful. You are called to do these things. Then the last one, or the second to the last one I'll talk about is sleep disturbances. When a child is not sleeping well, they can't sleep well, something might just be stressing them out. A child is not sleeping well, something might just be stressing them out. Please look into that. Then the last one for them is food. When a child is eating too much or is not eating, it can be that they are being stressed. So children, they might not talk, but these are some of the signs you look into and you ask them. So if you are going through this as a parent and you really want to understand more, you can contact me. We'll have those discussions. We have our clarity session. We can also have our intensive session, or we can have our deep coaching session. And it starts with you, because you have to understand those things to be able to help your child. A stressed home creates a stressed child. That's what I will tell you. A stressed home creates a stressed child. So please take note of that. So now let's go over to the teenagers. The teenagers are those from 13 and 19. And I think most parents have challenges in this age, both for boys and for girls. I think more for boys. I have 3 girls. I have 3 wonderful girls. So I cannot really compare that with boys. But what I've heard most of the time from colleagues, from friends that have boys, boys are more problematic during their teenage years as girls. So a teenager, what you have to understand is that a teenager is navigating identity. And some of these things is what you as an adult is also navigating. Then imagine somebody that is still growing. You come somewhere, your identity is still shaking. You don't know whether you belong or you don't belong. You don't know who you are. Talk less of a teenage young girl, a teenage young boy. They are navigating their identity, they are navigating their expectation, they are navigating their uncertainty, they are finding themselves, they are finding their footing all at once. The hormones are high, the hormones are screaming. You understand? And what do we parents do? We beat the hell out of that stubbornness. That's what we call it. And I understand parents. I understand parents. I understand you. I was there, I'm there, and everything. But if we parent with a little bit of grace, I'm not an expert on parenting. Anything I'm saying here is out of stress management and my own experience of parenting. My own experience of parenting. I'm not a parent expert, but I'm talking about stress in them, and I'm using my own experiences as a parent and what I read. We need more patience as parents. We need to open our eyes more. We need more involvement. We need more time. We need more priority with our kids. So, what are some of the stress that these our young teenagers they go through? You know, them that family conflict, of course, it affects them, but most of the time, what they do is that they walk away from it. They they push that one, that family conflict. They push it at the back of their mind. They made up their mind either to ignore or to let go. That's one thing I want parents to know. Teenagers, that's your everyday fight with your husband, with your wife. That's your everyday argument. That's insecurity at home. That's emotional tension at home. That teenager has made up their mind, both consciously or unconsciously, and they have put it somewhere because there are other things in front of them that they take more as priority. Not that that thing is not affecting them, it is. Not that they're not seeing those things, it is, but they've replaced it. Hmm? They've replaced it with other things. And some of the other things, number one is their identity. They are growing, they are finding their own styles. As my children were teenagers, it's not the kind of trousers I wanted to buy for them that they wanted to wear. So they are finding their own identity. Who am I? Where do I belong? Which group do I belong? Which gang do I belong? Am I enough? Do I need to color my hair? Do I need makeup? Do I need this? Do I need that? How do I dress? How do I speak? With who do I speak? Which party do I go to? Which concert do I go to? Identity formation is the one of the highest stressors that teenagers go through. And we parents, if you're a Christian, you need to pray during this time. You need to give a lot of love and a lot of grace. At the same time, you need to be strict, but in the right way. And that right way is different from one child to the other. That's what I discover. That strict way, that right way is different from one child to the other. So these questions that they have to answer themselves is very, very challenging, very, very stressful for them to answer those questions. They don't even know that that these questions are there, that they are answering it. But that is what they are faced with every day, day in, day out. One of their classmates will bring a pencil, a biro, then that will be the reigning biro. They want to have it. They feel that you are cool when you have it. You are cool when you talk this way. Then tomorrow, no, you are cool when you do something different. You understand? So this identity formation affects them. And I can say that to you, the way their 3 to 12 was formed can make their 13 to 19 better, simpler, and more successful because the foundation is always key. But of course, they're not 24 hours at home. They have school, they have friends. So understand that their identity formation is a source of stress. And ask you how you as a parent go about it. You can either help them or damage them. Then they have their academic pressure. They have their academic pressure that affects them also. Their grades, their exams, their future. What am I going to do? Am I going to go to the university? Am I going to train? Am I going to travel abroad? What am I going to do? Am I performing right? Those things also affect them. identity formation, stress, academic pressure, peer pressure, social media is stressful. I know some people that what social media has done to them. Adults, I keep saying, imagine these things also apply to adults. And to an extent, your brain has been formed. Talk less of a child that has a sponge brain that is still eating up everything on its way. So, social media is a big problem. Um, Celebrities are there. They affect your child. They make that child feel insecure. They stress that child out so much. You start seeing a child borrowing things from their friends to meet up, stealing, lying to meet up. That is a stressful experience for them, and that's one of the highest stress factors also. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Then also here you have parental pressure. You know, we some of us were not emotionally available because we feel okay to an extent they are big enough, so we just give them work to do and we expect it to be done. You understand? We just feel you are old enough. You should just stop doing this and start doing this, which is true. Which is true, but sometimes the way we go about it matters a lot. The way we go about it matters a lot. Then the next thing is they are uncertain about the future. Some of them just feel, oh, I'll be 13, I'll be 14, I'll be 15. What is the future? Where do I belong? What am I going to do? Am I going to fail? Am I not going to fail? How successful are my parents? Would I end up like my parents? Would I be better than my parents? Those are the things that go through their mind, and those things can be very stressful. So now those are the common stress factors for teenagers. So how do they show you these factors? How can you identify that, hey, my teenage girl, my teenage boy might be going through stress? One, swings. Yeah. We know that first of all, there's this part of the hormones. The hormones are there already. So people that have young boys, they'll say when they are 12, when they're 13, people that used to hug their moms before, they stop hugging their moms. But I didn't experience that. I have girls, they still love to be hugged, you know. But these hormones make them go crazy. There's what they call emotional overload for them, and it intensifies any reaction that they give. They're getting angry, you tell them not to go out, is a problem. You tell them to go out to come at this particular time, there's a problem. You tell them who to be with, who to hang out with, is a problem. They don't see what you are seeing, so they have these mood swings. So when you see a child, I don't want anybody to enter my room, or everybody's eating, they will not come and eat. All those kind of mood swings, it can be from stress. You need to find a way to get to them. Like I said, look for parenting tips, join groups, look for a parenting coach that can help you out. You have parenting coach for young children, for teenagers, for young adults. Look for this help. Find help where you need help. you know then you have withdrawal, or some of them are being rebellious. Is Can be stress. It can be stress. Lots of motivation, it can be stress. It can be they are so tired, they are so drained, they're not motivated to do some kind of things. So that's that. Then anxiety and panic. The number, the percentage of teenagers that are experiencing anxiety, panic attack, and fear is rising at an alarming rate. It's rising at an alarming rate. The body is on survival mode. They are tensed. They are constantly tensed. The pressure is too much. So they are fearful, they're having panic attack, they are anxious, they're nervous. Those are coming from stress. Either they have nobody to talk to, they don't have anywhere that they can release that stress. So parents, try and create that environment of safety for your children. And of course, I will say this also. I know parents that have created that environment, but the children, for one reason or the other, did not take that. But at least you will know I've done what I'm supposed to do. So, and if your child is always angry or always silent or always so carefree, it can be stress. It can be stress. Stress, sometimes we call it attitude in them. You're having an attitude, Oda. I'm telling you something, you're having an attitude. But sometimes it's just emotional overload. And they need tools, they need things that will help them. So those are some of the ways that they show this stress, you know, some of the ways they show this stress. So in ending this, let me shortly talk to parents, aunties, uncles, teachers, what they call it. There's a word they use, guardians. Children, especially the teenagers, they don't like those lectures we give to them sometimes. They just want us to, they want to see, they want to feel that thing they want to feel that good thing around them. And I know that sometimes you need to talk to them about things, but sometimes don't even say anything. Take them out. Take them out somewhere, let them have a good time, or things like that. It will help out. Sometimes they don't need punishment. Yeah, you heard me right. There's one thing I experienced about my kids, and I also learnt it from a parenting workshop. So sometimes it said, tell your children to punish themselves. Tell your children, if you don't wash the plate, what should happen to you? Say to yourself, give yourself that punishment. So it is not even you that's giving them the punishment, is them. So punishment sometimes does not solve it. What they need is consequence for their actions will help them better. So stress in children can be reduced by you yourself being regulated. That means you are not shouting unnecessarily. You are shouting when there's a danger. You are shouting when it's too much. Not every single thing we shout. Hey, we mothers, we can shout. Yeah. Then you need to validate your children. You need to tell your children, oh, you are beautiful, you are doing well. Their efforts, their efforts, not just the results. You see a child reading. One of my daughters yesterday, so we've not talked during the day. She now sent me a voice note, the updates of my day. And I just told her, I said, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me that you took out the time to give me the update of your day. Reward efforts. Reward efforts. Don't wait until that result come. Validate their emotion. When they are sad, let them know, okay, I might understand the way you are sad, or I understand that you are angry. I understand this. But if you yourself, you are not regulated, you will not see those things. You will not see those things. And as parents, you need to know the kind of stress personality you are. Are you a fixer? Are you a person that withdraws? Are you a person that don't care? So for you to know those things, you need to register for one of my courses, Stress to Success course. If you're a woman, the balanced woman, or my Stress to Success masterclass coming up on the 7th of February to learn those things for yourself. Then learn communication. Learn how to communicate with your child. How does your child understand? Like I said, you can have 3 children, but they all communicate differently. One will come and tell you all their problem. The other one will just argue, you know that something is wrong. The other one will just stay in their room, you know that something is wrong. That is communication. But try and create a safe communication in your home. You yourself model calm behavior, model things that they will see, that how to regulate themselves. Very, very important. So if you and I, if we want healthy children, we want healthy teens, we must become first emotionally aware adults. Stress flows downwards and calm flows outwards. Stress, it flows downwards. Calm flows outward. You spread it like this. But stress, you are heaping it on people. And that's not what your teenage wants. That's not what your small children want. The greatest gift we can give the next generation is a safe emotional environment to grow in. There's enough stress out there. There's enough confusion out there. Let your children know that as a parent, when they come into your space, when they come into their home, that there's emotional stability. And it starts with you as a parent. So if you want that for yourself, because you must get it, you must understand yourself, you must regulate yourself before you are able to regulate that child. You know, I'm Coach Ife Obona. I'm that stress to success strategist. Book a class with me, book one of my programs. I always recommend a 3 weeks program where, first of all, you learn about yourself. Secondly, you learn about your relationship. And thirdly, you start building that life that you need to. That's basically how my courses run. One, self-awareness, knowing about your strength, your weakness, your past, your present, everything about you. Secondly, your relationship, because we are people, we're not built on our own. We have relationship. And the last one is your routines, your habits, creating that life. And I keep saying the balanced life, no, the rich lifestyle is one that is with balance, with fulfillment, and with sustainability. You don't want to be a good mother one day and 6 days you're a bad one, or you are a stressed one, or you are not a regulated one. You want to be a balanced, a fulfilled, and a sustained parent. So if that is you, send me that DM today and let's get you started on your balanced journey that will flow out to your children. So next week, I'll be talking to young adults. So maybe some young adults are watching me, or if you're a mom like myself and you have young adults, we're talking about them. I have 3 young adults with me right now, and we'll talk about them, talk about the stress that they are going through and how it shows up in them, and what because they are like, young adults are like the same, you guys are on the same level, and you react to them differently because they show up also differently. That's all for today. Sorry, I took a bit more of the time, but it's a topic that is so dear to my heart that we had to go into it. God bless you. See you next week for our next topic. Okay, have a nice time.